Here's my little office. This is what my desk looks like. And if you've seen this channel before, this is what the back of my office looks like. Pretty good, but pretty small. I love how clean I've set up my desk. If you've seen my $1,000 desk upgrade video, you'll know how I did that. And I've made a few upgrades since then. For example, these new little lights for when I record YouTube videos are great, much more compact. Really only takes a moment to swing out the mic, turn on the lights, turn on the camera, set up my recording software, and I'm ready to start filming a YouTube video. I love how little friction there is to actually start making something. I made some other upgrades too, like this little Apple Watch, iPhone, and even wirelessly chargeable AirPod charger, kind of all in one, even though I don't have those AirPods. But the biggest change and upgrade in my opinion was getting rid of my Windows laptop in exchange for this 14-inch M1 Pro MacBook Pro, which I absolutely love. I actually got the base model and just upgraded the storage to the maximum of 8 terabytes, which isn't too common. But I love it. Look, one cord to control everything. It charges it, gives me access to all my peripherals. It's incredible. Just pick it up, plug it in, go, stay, whatever you want to do. To have the cord just run straight into this grommet on my desk and just disappear, it's a beautiful thing. That cord goes to this Thunderbolt dock, which controls basically everything. And this thing also controls my gaming mouse. Now I used to have a Razer gaming mouse and gaming controller, but Razer products don't play well with Mac, and you know what? They suck. This Logitech mouse, love it, and so much cheaper. Also got a teleprompter for these videos. Comes with a little app and a little remote control, and it just makes it way easier to get through a video with less editing and less mess ups, especially when it's a really technical video where I don't want to just ramble on with something that doesn't make any sense. Of course, these days I just try to bullet point it out and keep it loose, you know? I got this CamLink 4K, which lets me record on OBS for Patreon videos. I'm still using my to-do lists because it's just such a simple way to get things done every day. A dash across means that it's in progress, and a vertical dash means it's complete. I've got a few more things I want to show you in here, but I'll just mark it off for now. First of all, look at this charging area. Wow, shocking, disgusting. Batteries all over the floor, right in the way of where I'd hit my foot pedal to turn on the light. It's a real mess. I'm just kicking those things all over the place. And this little tiny office feels even smaller because I have a second chair in here now. I've been editing an indie feature, and the director sits in on edits here, and it just feels even smaller. Got junk just lining the floor here. I got my light, I got a box of props, I got hard drives, I got other pieces of gear, printer, I got my cat on his little window hammock. Even this wall, which I intentionally try to keep clutter-free for the background of my YouTube videos, hides some very dark secrets. Look at this corner, full of hard drive boxes for the feature I'm working on. It is disastrous. Or how about this cool wooden bowl I bought for coins? Look at all the squatters that have taken over to go through all of that just to get a coin out. It's dusty, it's dirty, and these big storage cabinets are so full to the brim that to get something out, I usually have to pull out 5 other things just to get to it, you know? Here's what I've got in here.
Notebooks, photos, sound gear, its almost monitor case, DJI mic case, 7 rims thing, lenses, randomly, lens accessories and old lenses, mounting accessories, grip stuff, an old light, computer accessories, computer wires, files, paperwork, hard drive as far as the eye can see.
Now I actually have a solution for these hard drives coming up soon, and I'm very excited to make that video, but for now, let's look at some overall solutions. How about this back wall? I was thinking I could put a shelf right here, lift these portraits up higher, and get some of this cabinet stuff out of the way, up onto that shelf. Or look at that! Holy shit! It's like Montana up here, big open spaces. Tony Soprano's been staring at it the whole time. Why didn't I see it? And if I had some storage up there, it won't clutter up the background of the YouTube videos. So now we got a plan. I think it's time to start upgrading this tiny office. First, we gotta make some room to work with. Let's get these chairs out of here, and let's bring in this IKEA crap. And some other crap. I decided to go with this IKEA cabinet because I thought it looked very clean and white to match the walls, and it has a kind of dampened hinge. That means that it'll open and close softly. I figured if I put this cabinet up near the top of the wall, I'll not only get the storage inside of the cabinet, but also on top where I can put even more stuff. So I'm basically getting a shelf and a cabinet. What I forgot about, and what I always forget about with IKEA products, is what a pain in the ass it ends up being to put it together. Meanwhile, in the den, this was happening. So I got everything out, I looked at the instructions, and that's when I noticed something strange. It talked about a mounting bar, but I didn't have a mounting bar. So I turned off the camera, had a small meltdown, and went to IKEA to pick up the mounting bar, which they definitely could have included with the package when I bought it online, or at least told me I needed it. I had no idea where to go to get this. I figured either the workspaces or kitchen area. So I angrily marched my flip-flops down IKEA looking for section cabinets, that's what it's called. Found a bunch of other ones, some that were even cool. Maybe I should have gotten one of these. And some very helpful advice from IKEA. Yeah, appreciate that. Finally, I found one that had the name I was looking for, Section, but it really wasn't exactly what I had bought. And then I found some other inspiration. Should I have gotten something like this instead? And then I found some other stuff I might buy. Hey, I could use some little organizers like this. Long story short, I had to go through the entire store to get to the warehouse section where I could ask somebody to pull out the thing, and then they gave it to me and they said you gotta wait for somebody else to pull it out of here, and then they gave me a number, and then finally my number was ready, and then I took my thing and I took it out to the parking lot and I put it in my car, and then I closed the trunk, and then I went home. And then I had to cut it down. So I had to borrow my neighbor's saw, I had to measure out 3 feet, and hand saw this f***ing rail. At long last, it was time to get back to work. Luckily, I found a use for one of those little trays pretty quick. I borrowed my girlfriend's good power drill and got to work. One thing that's kind of annoying is that IKEA shipped me this stuff, first of all, in 2 separate boxes, shipped multiple days apart. And of course, they were damaged. So this corner was pretty messed up. Fortunately, I was able to wedge it loose enough to work. And here's where I hit another problem. Oh, dumb son of a bitch. This needs to be higher up. Salvaged, thank God. Yes. Then it was time to put the hinges on, which had pretty confusing instructions. The good drill died, so I grabbed my crappy one. We did it, folks. And now it was time to put the hinges on the door. This was all pretty boring. Now I don't have a step stool, but what I do have is pelican cases. So I got to work, made the measurements. You'll notice me doing this expression a lot in this section of the video. There were a lot of times where I just wasn't sure what was happening. For example, couldn't figure out where the stud was even with the stud finder.
One of these gotta be a f***ing stud.
I'm pretty convinced that this wall doesn't have regularly spaced studs. Yeah, there's that expression again. Switched to drywall anchors to hold up most of it. I figured if I did enough of them, it would be fine. I think I eventually hit 1 stud.
Maybe I found the stud.
Alright, got the thing up. Now it's time for the potentially dangerous job of trying to hang the cabinet on the rail by myself. So, let's see what happens. It's very heavy. Okay. Here we go. Okay, it's a little awkward. Here's where I almost died.
Oh,
Right there.
oh
yeah. Hey, there it is. I think. I'm scared to let it go. Is that good? Pretty sure we're good. All right, let's say we're good. Here's where I almost died again. Oh! Part of me thought about keeping the blue wrap on the door. It looked kind of cool. Okay, it doesn't stay up. I gotta adjust some. All right. Oh, it's got a f***ing star-shaped Y. Why? Got my star-shaped f***ing screwdriver. Here we go. For the life of me, I cannot understand why somebody would make a star-shaped screw head. Just make it a Phillips. In fact, I don't even know why we have flat head versus Phillips. Just make everything the same. Let's get this blue thing off. If I get this off in one strip, you have to subscribe. My arms are on fire. Oh. This is where I realized I definitely should have taken this wrap off before I installed the door. Oh. Like, why do they make it so sticky? Oh my God, I did it. One strip. Are you not entertained? Look at that. Huh? Look at that. It's completely unintentional, but happens to be the perfect height to not bang my head into it. I later found out this only applies when I'm not wearing shoes. And one last touch. First day of upgrading the office was a success. That's all, folks. Now it's time to hit the beaches of Miami for a little well-deserved R&R. Unfortunately, I didn't make it back in one piece. My flip-flops that I'd had since college, the thong busted. And that's not the kind of thongs I wanted to bust down in Miami Beach. Do not cut with sharp object. Should I cut it with a spoon? Should I cut it with a balloon? What else do you cut something with? Don't tell nobody. Okay. The reason I got a filing cabinet was I realized if I move my desk all the way to one side of the wall, I can squeeze in this little thin filing cabinet that I found on Amazon. It's gonna give me a ton of space to put all my odds and ends. Yeehaw! And this must be where the caster wheels are. And I've been trying to get more organized lately, so. Am I allowed to use a sharp object to cut this? Is that against the rules too? How funny would it be if I just cut my finger wide open while I was doing this? Wheels. Instructions. Like, why do I need instructions for a filing cabinet? You know, it's like, I don't get it. Do I put the paper on top or do I put it in, does it go in the crack? What am I supposed to do with it? Does it go next to it? I don't know. And then I carefully read the instructions for the filing cabinet. Why do I record all of this? Nobody wants to watch it. Very complicated. What you have to do here is actually screw the screw into the screw hole. And this is just what you call great content, folks. People need to know how to screw things in. People need to know what that looks like. Because it's not all glitz and glam, you know? It's not all putting papers into filing cabinets. Sometimes you gotta roll up your sleeves and screw in caster wheels. And then you roll your filing cabinet into the correct position and then you put the papers in. Everything's fine. I think I ended up with 8.5 hours of footage for this video. Wow, this is a first. I don't know if you can see this, but this screw is completely filled in. There's no hole for me to put the screwdriver into. So that's fun. And proceeded to keep filming with everything out of focus. Ah, it's on my hand. Cool. Now it's time for the install, which was gonna be a lot easier than installing the cabinet. Got all this junk out of the way. Even found the old lumbar pillow that came with my chair, which I never used, so that one's gonna go. Let's see if we can slide her over without breaking anything. Oh yeah. Look at that. So now I've got some storage area back in this corner. I like to keep my old boxes of expensive items I own. You never know when I'm gonna resell it. Don't need that. Also had some props from some short films and YouTube videos in here. Some I kept, some I got rid of. Got my big green screen thingy in that circle. I got this little reflector. And put my backpack back there, some other odds and ends. Couldn't figure out where to put the small rig light, so I put it under my tripod bag for now, which actually created some more space on either side of it to put more things. All right, now for some fun. Let's clear out some of this disaster. Now this disgusting hard drive situation I'm going to consolidate in a future video into a network attached storage system, but I'm gonna clear out this top section for now. And time to do some filing, baby. Yeah, this is what you came for. Sexy. There it goes, it's gone. Found some more things I had to stow away in that corner. That's now my junk box, but fortunately you can't see it back there, so it all works out. Oh, time to clear out this bowl. Getting it down to just the coins, folks. And if you've seen some of my earlier videos, this was the instructions for this plant I had in the background, which my cat destroyed by eating. And now we're down to just coins. And here's some other junk. Here's a script, some notebooks, and I ended up finding the perfect thing to put next to my light. Another light. Just when I thought I was finished, boxes started magically appearing in my office, and I knew it was time for phase 2 of this tiny office upgrade. We'll get into what's in all these boxes in just a moment. There is one box that I do want to show you, and that is this. This company called Lux CEO sent me a LED light tube, and I gotta say, I love it. I've actually never had an LED light tube. I've wanted one for a while, just never pulled the trigger, and this one's great. It's got a little battery status lights, it's got a remote that gives you different colors and lets you control the brightness. I dig it. But here's the main item that we're dealing with. This box is from Wall Control. We're gonna get into that in a minute. And what do we have here? Why, that's some new Reef flip-flops. Oh my God, it's so comfortable, so stylish. I might have to do a little dance. Oh yeah, look at that. That's a bottle opener on the bottom, folks. Now it's time to set up these pegboards from Wall Control, and I wanted to do this to get as much of my gear and charging devices off of the ground. One piece arrived a little scuffed up, but most of it was in good shape. And then came the long process of trying to figure out how to set this thing up. I got a power outlet with some USB outputs, tried a lot of different configurations. Also got a better rechargeable battery charger for my double and triple A's. Once I finally figured out a layout that might work, I started laying down the Velcro. I figured everything would just Velcro to the front. I would try to manage the wires along the front as best as I could. Some people pry out bigger holes to like run the cords through the back, but I figured if I did that, it would be a lot more work than I want to do, and anytime I wanted to take these things off, it'd be a whole process. But if I keep it all in the front, I can just unvelcro them whenever I need to and take them on the road or what have you. Originally I was going to put the charging station in the back here, but it was too cramped. So I decided to put them both under this new IKEA cabinet, which actually was kind of the perfect spot. I'm using this handy magnetic bubble level to level out these pegboards and figure out where the holes are going to need to be drilled. Now my neighbors lent me this bubble level, about 6 months ago when I was hanging up some shelves. And I've used it so many times since then, I just can't imagine giving it back. But hey, neighbors, if you're watching this video, all you gotta do is ask. Until then, I think I'm gonna hold on to it. Also, you have our pencil sharpener, so if you want the bubble level, we're gonna need that pencil sharpener back. If I give you the bubble level now, I've got no leverage to ever get that thing back, so it's just the way the world works, I'm afraid. Set these things up. It was actually surprisingly easy, and I think I even hit a stud again, which was just dumb luck because God knows I can't find a stud. And then came a little trial and error. I just kind of had to wing it with where all these things were gonna go. But I did have an idea. Let's put this light from Lux CEO up at the top, and that could be kind of like a little work light. Pretty handy. Laid out some other things. I wanted an area where I could have the charged batteries, the batteries that need to be charged. So I figured I could use these buckets for the batteries that need to be charged. This shelf was going to become a charging area for devices like this iPad AirPods, whatever. I've got a USB-C and a lightning cable there. Put my DJI mic up here, all my little odds and ends. Anything I need to use on a regular basis, I figured I'd just put up here. The system works great. It is very satisfying to need something and just pull it off this wall instead of go searching through a bunch of drawers and cluttered cabinets to find something that you need. I really love it. So I tried a few iterations and eventually just kind of settled on a system that works. This is 90% there, but I added a few things since this. And then it was time to start taking advantage of this cabinet. So I used the top as a shelf for stuff like my small rig light softbox, my old light, some other odds and ends. And then I figured, let's put all the stuff I don't need that often up here. So I'm gonna put my notebooks, any books, any photos, my box of old mini DV tapes that I wanna get digitized and maybe even re-edit some of my old short films at some point. That could be a fun YouTube video. And there it is, out of sight, out of mind. I got these little bins that I can put my charged batteries in, and they have a little divider in too, so you can separate your charged from your uncharged, or do whatever you want. This little work light is great, and I can just pull it off and go shoot something when I want, or I can just pull it down here and set it to charge whenever I need to. And then I had a little inspiration when I realized that these little IKEA bins fit perfectly in this spot. So now I use that, put my charged batteries in this one, and I can put the iPad right on top if I need to charge it. And I put all my other little odds and ends, a lot of camera and lens accessories in this one. This little light's magnetic, so I just stick it to the wall. And we've got this area. I kind of want to clean it up. First of all, these dusty candles, I don't even know why I have them. I literally never use them. Don't really need this Pelican case anymore. I'll switch this one to this side. I love having the box cutter handy now. And here's an interesting product, this Divum Pixu 64. I don't know how to pronounce it, but this definitely falls in the category of something that I would absolutely never buy for myself. But if a company were to say, email me and offer me one for free, I would say, hell yeah, let's do it. And you know what? It's pretty cool. I figured I'd set it up next to this wall control board and have a clock that I could actually see. Because as much as I love my cat clock back there, I can't actually see it when I'm working. It has a lot of cool presets and different things that people have made. Some of them were pretty tempting. Definitely don't need to be seeing how many YouTube subscribers I have at any given moment, nor do I need to know how much money I've lost on Bitcoin. So just a simple clock is gonna do it for me. I got these magnetic wire control things and I absolutely love them. Super handy. A lot easier to do some cable management with these on any kind of metal surface than using zip ties or what have you. And here is the pretty much complete wall control board with the clock next to it and some fun little movie animations that I found on the app. Eventually I simplified this to just the matrix animation. Wasn't a big fan of this big fat surge protector cord coming off, so I used this cable management kit to conceal that with a white little cable cover. At this point, this little office is really starting to shape up, but there's still a big problem, which is that it's disgusting. My computer screen is just covered in dust and cat fur. It's everywhere. So I got a couple of things here. One is this cordless air duster and vacuum 2-in-1 special. And also this screen cleaning spray and cloth called Whoosh. So I just went on a dusting spree with this thing. Dusting and vacuuming, all kinds of stuff. Camera lenses. Started vacuuming my speakers. I just went nuts. It really is handy and more convenient than those compressed air cans that always run out and put out weird chemicals and stuff too. The biggest area to clean up, of course, was Cat's bed. It is absolutely disgusting, and it actually did a pretty good job of catching all that fur, which is very satisfying to get out of my office. Now it's time to test out that Whoosh spray. This is the same screen cleaning solution that they'll use at the Apple Store if you take your products into there. So I was assuming it would be good, and it didn't let me down. My screen looks great. I always get a little anxious cleaning my laptop screen just because I'm worried about scratching it or something, but nothing matches the satisfaction you get from a perfectly clean screen. Hey Google, turn on desk lights. And then there was one last problem, which is I kind of hated my LED lights that I had installed in the last desk upgrade videos. They just don't have an actual white setting. The white setting is kind of blue. That's a problem with a lot of cheaper LED light strips. Fortunately, TP-Link sent me these new smart Wi-Fi light strips. And spoiler alert, they're way better than the old ones. I won't go through this whole process again because I've already shown it in my desk upgrade video, but I took out the old strips, put on the new strips, this time going all the way around the border of my desk, not just the back. Plugged them on. Those lights meant it was ready to connect to the app. Downloaded the app, and much cleaner app, much easier to use. And look at this pure white and look how bright it gets. So much better. They also have zone lighting, which means they can just change colors in a wave like this. That's a success. Now it's time to put it on the monitor, which involved a lot more cable management cleanup, but worth it. So I cleaned up the back so that it would stick better. Tried to figure out where I was gonna put the control button. I figured the best place would be next to the button for my YouTube light, and I started wiring this thing around the monitor. Almost f***ed up my whole desk here when this thing fell off. And I won't bore you with the cable management, but just had to clear up the wires and get the control button for the desk light mounted somewhere accessible, so I just put it right at the corner of the desk here. Wow, sexy. It's like an aurora in my office. Here's how I'm gonna be using it 95% of the time though. Pure white is great. But you know what? I kinda like some of these gradients. I think if you mix a color with white like this, you get a cool atmosphere that's not distracting. And in order to not have so much dust and cat hair floating around in the future, I got this air purifier in here, which does a really good job of capturing all that stuff. If I put it at high speed, it's pretty loud. If I put it at 1, it's whisper quiet, but I usually just leave it at 2 most of the time. This mountain of boxes is gonna be gone as soon as I finish editing this feature, which is happening pretty soon actually. And look, I finally have enough room to put my camera rig away. This side's still a little messy, but that's next on the to-do list. Overall, I'm very satisfied with this tiny office upgrade. It feels so much more spacious, organized, and clean. Well worth this box that represents a week of my life. Next time I need bubblegum or a temporary tattoo, boom, I can grab my coins. I got this whole workspace cleared up. I'd say this tiny office upgrade is complete, and I can finally move on to my other to-dos. And there's links in the description to every product you've seen in this video. Please check them out. There's also a kit.co page that organizes all the products nicely. When I say everything is within arm's reach in this little office, I mean everything. Wow, so easy, so convenient. Hope some of these ideas inspired you guys. See y'all next time. Peace.